Well, welcome to Jefferson Liberty Radio, the voice of the state of Jefferson in the Central Valley. I am Matthew, joined as always by Pat. How are you doing, Pat?
I'm doing well. Thanks, Matthew. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. We also have John over there. How are you doing, John?
Fine. Good evening.
Good evening, John.
Before we get started, I want to tell you about our sponsor. This episode is sponsored by Al Certified Safe and Lock. Al's offers locksmithing services and alarm systems for a range of applications, including burglary, fire, tamper, medical emergencies, and much more. Al's has been locally owned and managed in Modesto for nearly 70 years, and with thousands of loyal and satisfied customers, you can be sure that Al's will not only meet, but exceed your needs. For more information, call 1-800-700-4780 or go to alsalarm.com. That's ALSALARM.com. Thank you so much to Al's Certified Safe and Lock for sponsoring our show. Pat, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Welcome, fellow Jeffersonians, to Jefferson Liberty Radio. Tonight we are going to be talking with Karen England. Karen is, let me see if I have this right. You are the director of the Capital Resource Institute. Is that your actual title, or do you have another title, or?
Yes, I'm the
executive director.
Yes, but that just means I do everything, including lick stamps. So, we're all activists in the movement.
Very good. Well, they do have those self-sticking stamps now, so you might want to...
I just aged myself.
Yeah, well, that's okay. No problem. I'm with you there, girl. So I guess we'll just get into our first question of the evening. Or, what is Capital Resource and why was it started?
Well, Capital Resource Institute is a nonprofit public policy organization. We stand and work in the areas of religious freedom, parental rights. We are pro-life, pro-constitution. And we were started in June, it'll be 32 years. So it's been 31 years. And we were founded we do white papers on policy. We educate the church. We educate others on legislations that's going through, parental rights, all the different kind of topics that might not necessarily get covered in the mainstream news. And so we write on them and encourage citizens to be active in their citizenship.
So do you publish these white papers?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Our website is capitalresource.org. And right now, in addition to looking through legislation as it's being introduced in California and how it might infringe on religious liberty or parental rights, we're working quite a bit on the California sex education. And we are working on that page where it'll be a one-stop shop for everything regarding the push to sexualize our kids in school.
Oh, yeah. Boy, it is a never-ending battle, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. We get calls every day, and especially the kind of progressive agenda into the classroom with a captive audience using our tax dollars.
Oh, yeah, it's not a good thing. There is something that you have is called Lobby Day. Can you tell us about that and maybe how people can get involved and who are interested in that?
Absolutely. We do an annual, if not, we do it a couple times a year, a citizen lobby day where we people come to Sacramento. We explain the legislative process to them. We talk about some current legislation. And then in the afternoon, we go over and we talk to the legislators. And when I first started, and I was just a volunteer with an organization, I went to my very first lobby day they put on. Mm-hmm. And when they called us all up to get a packet and go talk to a senator, my girlfriend and I, we threw the packet away and went home. We were like, we cannot do this. There is no way we can go talk to, an elected official. So I started putting these on when I got more active. And so we have a citizen legislator or lobbyist for you. So you don't have to worry about throwing away my packet. I don't want you to waste our donations. And so we'll have an actual citizen lead you. And if you then want to start talking, you can too. And you will find out how easy it is, how citizens can know more about the process and the bills than actual legislators. And that's the whole point of the day, is to give you kind of a one day, which would probably be a year-long kind of government lesson on how to access your legislature, whether it's, the local level at the school board or up in Sacramento.
Well, it sounds like it would be something anybody who is active or wants things to change in Sacramento should definitely take advantage of this. So, John?
Yeah, who can attend Lobby Day? Is there an age range? Is there a fee to do so? Can you walk us through that?
Sure. Usually there's not an age, but this year we're going to be talking about the sexual education. So we are asking you not to bring kids younger than 16 because there's going to be some graphic stuff. And so I don't, it's a little embarrassing already saying some of the words I have to say with adults. So it's going to be Monday, March 4th from 9 to 4. And we are going to spend the morning with some speakers and teaching you how the process works. And then we're going to go over and lobby the legislature on parental rights and sex ed. And there is, I believe it's $10, but scholarships are available, and you can go to our website. I don't want anyone to not come because they don't have the money. We will make a scholarship available for you. The most important thing is that you get there and become an educated, equipped citizen on how to let your voice be heard.
That's very good that you guys putting your money where your mouth is, asking everybody to attend regardless of ability to pay. I like that.
Yeah.
We really want everyone. I know some families, sometimes they will bring several children, a homeschool family, or they're already coming up. I've got a couple of people already flying up from Southern California. That's a huge expense. This is not about making money for us. This is about educating the citizenry.
How many people do you usually have attending these?
We roughly have about 100, but I think this will be our largest because we've got some buses coming up from Southern California. I think we'll pack the room out with 500.
Wow. Now, is this similar to I saw a video of you speaking, and you were talking about the sex education. And is that sort of what you do? You go through that
Well, this lobby day on March 4th, we will be talking about sex education. Often I will be talking about the new bills that are going through the legislature. Right now they're introducing bills, and we're going through them and analyzing them. So we're not quite done. They still have until February 22nd to introduce new legislation. So thousands of bills are being introduced right now. And usually our lobby day is about all the new bills.
Okay.
But this year, our first one is going to kick off with the sex education because it's such a hot topic right now.
So important. I agree. So if one wants to attend this lobby day on March 4th, what do you suggest we should do? Or who could, how do you, should we prepare? How would you prepare for this event? And is this all on your website?
It's all on our website. And once you register, we will continue to send you updates. We will send you a map on parking. We will send you, dress attire, kind of what the rules are. But you don't need to do anything to prepare for this. You need to come rested and ready to voice your opinion. It is a one day. Again, I went and I was amazed, and it was so overwhelming that, again, we threw our packets away and went home. But now I've got someone that will lead you guys, and you guys don't have to, again, throw your packets away and be nervous about talking to a legislator. You can go in and you will leave with so much confidence to understand the process and to make an impact, again, whether it's at school board, city council, within your own political party, whatever it is, you will be ready and equipped.
Very good.
Excellent. I'm really interested in the City on the Hill program that you do with the youth. Can you run us through that program? Explain that a little bit, what the youth would be looking forward to in that program?
Oh, absolutely. That is one of the best weeks of my life and the most exhausting weeks of my life. And that is when we bring up Christian youth. It is a leadership conference, and we encourage citizens or kids to send 14 to 18 years of age. And you can go to cityonthehill.org and get the dates. It's in July this year. Youth come. We've been doing this for 31 years. I play the governor, and they are legislators of either the Constitutionalists or the Patriot Party. And they have to pass party platforms. They have to form committees and caucuses. It simulates the real process in Sacramento. So they learn through doing exactly what kind of politics and public policy is. We also have media, a newspaper we release every day. So they've got to figure out, how to deal with the media, what they can, what they should say, framing the debate. They read current legislation that is going through the California legislature, and they debate that in mock committee hearings. And then at the end of the week, we spend the day on Saturday at the Capitol in the legislative desks, and they're in their suits, and they are arguing their bills like a real legislature. And more often than not, they're smarter and have better arguments than those people that we elected.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
Encouraging and awesome.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
What is the average attendance size of that program? Do you get a lot of kids for that week, or?
We get, it's 31 years. So I would say anywhere from 45 to 75. We wouldn't really take more than that because it's just really too much. You really lose the one-on-one hands with these kids. I mean, they're 14, 15, 16. Our average age is about 16.3. And so they're learning about the process, and, it's intense. If any of you have been involved in any party politics, it can be very intense. Do you vote with your friend and your roommate, or do you vote with that person you just met that has really great ideas? Whether it's platform, it's the same thing the party goes through, and I think you guys have experienced. Do you go with the win, as some people might say, or what's more palatable, or do you go with your convictions and principles? And we want the kids to really wrestle with that when they can do it where there's not lifelong consequences, and they can work those things out, if that kind of makes sense. And so that's what we do with the youth, and it's an emotionally intense week, I have to say.
I bet. A whole lot of learning going on there.
I can imagine, but you're putting out educated citizens at a young age that are ready to engage as soon as they're able to vote, and that's wonderful.
Yeah,
absolutely. We have people that work for the party. We have people that work in different legislative offices. We have people, former Assemblywoman Audra Strickland attended the conference years ago. We have students that have gone into journalism. They've realized, I don't really like politics, but I liked the journalism. And so we have youth that I have a stay-at-home mom that went 20 years ago, but she's an informed activist on Facebook. And so that's what we want. We want an informed, educated citizenry, no matter how old you are.
That's really, really, really good. Hey, if we could get back to the sex education, Karen, there is something called SECUS. Is that how you pronounce that? It's the Sexual Information and Education Council of the United States. Could you give us some history on that? I am embarrassed to say that I have never heard of that.
Well, and most people haven't, and that's why we're really doing the series in our email, trying to kind of expose some of these organizations. Like you said, SECUS, it sounded very professional, very official and very governmental, but it's not. It's nothing but an activist group that has been around as long as Planned Parenthood. And with Planned Parenthood, they believe our kids have sexual rights and believe that we should be basically creating activists in our schools out of our citizens. So all those kids that are, walking out during the guns or, leading that mantra, those are what SECUS is trying to produce. And they believe our public education system, specifically sex education, should be used for social change. And that's what they think our public schools should be doing with our taxpayer dollars and our kids' captive minds.
So this is taxpayer funded then?
Oh, in California, absolutely. We are one of roughly half the states mandate sex ed, and California is one of them. And SECUS, again, because it sounds so professional and you think it sounds governmental, that they just come in and tell the schools, well, SECUS says to do this, teach them how to put condoms on. So you need to do this. And then school boards are buying it and school boards are doing it. And our kids are becoming nothing but sexual activists and social justice warriors.
That's, yeah. I don't think that's necessary. Anyway.
Well, but I think we need to elaborate on some of the things that they're asking us as a state to teach our children as far as sex education. Some people may not know listen to this podcast.
Well, that's not what I meant by not necessary. I don't think it's necessary for young children to know so much at such a young age.
Oh no, absolutely isn't.
That's
but
what
I think we should, we have Karen here with us now, and we should allow you some time to touch on some of the things that could be detrimental to the children.
Yes.
Well, the conversation that we're having just brought up two issues. It's one, making our kids social activists, and the other is just the whole sexualizing of our kids. And SECUS, when they talk about sex ed is for social change, their own website in recent email said they want to talk to the kids about reproductive justice, LGBTQ equality, gender equality, and dismantling white supremacy. Now, we'll talk about sex ed in a minute, but just using our kids as social change with our taxpayer dollars in a state that forces your children to go to public school, you have, mandated compulsory education. We aren't turning our kids over to the government from 8 to 3 in order to dismantle white supremacy. That is not the role of government or our public schools. And so this idea, they think that they have to go in and supplant their values for the parents' values and change our kids on all of these issues, yet our kids can't read and write. So that's one issue is, the whole using our schools for social change, and they're upfront about it, and we'd be fools not to believe them when they tell us that's what they're doing.
So they're starting this push at kindergarten, or?
Oh, they're starting it in kindergarten, and it's happening in California, whether it's through the history, the new history books, or I'm very involved with the parents up in Rockland, where at the charter school they had a little boy who came in, he was in kindergarten. They read the book, I Am Jazz. He went into the bathroom because it's all self-contained in kindergarten. He came out as a girl. They announced him as his girl name and that he was a girl. And all the kids were thoroughly confused. Parents had no idea. These kindergartners were like, what? He became her? How does that work? And then lied to the parents about it. So it's happening. And it's happening in charter schools, all the public schools, and it's just going to go on, more. They're pretty in your face about what they believe.
Like when you say I Am Jazz, is this in reference to the same cable TV show that we choose not to watch?
It's a transgender book about a boy who believes he was born in a girl's body and changes into a girl. So yes, it's based on the series that's kind of for, I don't know, they say high schoolers, adults. But it's a children's book. They also read Crayon, which is about a crayon who was in the wrong color. So when you colored it, it was different than what it was. And it's the whole idea that you're not biology doesn't decide what you are, but how you feel decides. And so they're promoting that in kindergarten. And this was a charter school.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, do any of the teachers who have to teach this, do they ever, say, I'm not going to teach this? Do any of the, or is there ramifications if they don't?
Well, there's some case law. I'm not an attorney, I just play one at work, so I don't want to do too much. But I do know that it's very difficult in California to assert that you don't want to do that. Even to the compelling speech issue of, mandating a pronoun.
Yes.
For teachers, because again, there's contracts and there's case law in California where your rights are taken away. But when it comes to sex education, here's what they've done. In 2015, when they changed the law, before only a certified teacher could teach sex ed, but they changed it so you can bring in someone from the community, i.e. Planned Parenthood or, Equality California, one of the pro-LGBTQ groups, and they can teach it. So that way, any teacher that says, and I imagine your area, a lot of teachers would say, I am not going to teach all of this gender fluidity and all of this, pro-abortion stuff. They'll just have someone come in from the community, come teach it for 11 weeks and give that teacher an hour a day off to grade papers.
Yeah. So that's kind of like detention or something, huh?
Yeah.
So, what can we do to be proactive about changing this and maybe retaliating or somehow tell we don't want this in our schools? What can we do? How can we be proactive that?
I think the first thing is to really be educated on it and not naive. I know some of what I'm saying sounds pretty radical, especially within, where you live and your listening distance. But it is going on. It is mandated by state law. Unfortunately, the Bay Area and LA control a lot of what's mandated on all of our schools, even though the rest of us don't want it. So you've got to educate yourself. And then you've got to, especially in your area, Senator Shannon Grove, she is awesome.
Yes.
And I don't say that about many legislators, actually. Probably two that are up there, and Shannon is one of them. She doesn't just talk the talk, she walks the walk, and she does it even when no one's looking. So I want to give her a huge shout out. Because Shannon has been consistent for years and years and years, even when her own caucus at times might oppose her. Mm-hmm. And she has stood strong. So I want to say that.
You're right on there. We do know. You
need to thank her, and you need to encourage her to continue to do what she does, because she's going up against, a lot of times, again, her own party is against her. And so it's important that you thank her, pray for her, encourage her, ask her to speak out. But then, at your local level, it's tough, because the law says you must teach education and you must affirm all sexual orientations. So we need to have a long goal of changing the law and working towards changing the law. And that's not going to happen overnight. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And we need to be committed to the end game.
Well, there's one other person that we can thank for some of standing up against a lot of this right now. And he's in our local school council, and that's John Walker. And I'm sure you know John.
I think I met John. I took anyway, I was down for some events this fall for the election. Mm-hmm. So yeah, absolutely. And anything, you guys need to become the resources for your legislators and your elected officials.
Right.
It's a lot of research. They can't do research on every single issue and serve. So if you become kind of the resource, and we talk about that at our Citizen Lobby Day, that, hey, you need to become a trusted, truthful resource for your elected official, whether it's on water rights, or sex ed. But if you can provide them with the research and you're trusted, they have more time to focus on some of the other things and persuading their fellow members to vote the right way and educating them. But we have to do our part as citizens.
Right. Now, I saw on your website there's a video of you that people could watch, like a YouTube video, if they wanted more information on the sex education issues.
Yes, that was yes, and you can go to our website, capitalresource.org. And like everyone, and I'm sure you guys go through this, I don't like seeing myself or hearing myself. after I've been speaking, but that was a great night. That was a night that Ben Shapiro spoke down at Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills in Gage, California. And so we had a packed house where I was able to go through everything that's going on in sex education. It's a great video. If I don't look at myself. It is a good
video. Yes, I thought it was very informative.
Long. Yeah. So quick, concise. I think you can get the picture from it.
You did an excellent job.
And I think it's important for everyone to check that video out. We give them some real insight into what's happening with our children.
I agree, John. I agree with you.
They're our future. We need to protect them. So the more people that understand what's actually happening, the better off we are.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Are you aware of the CFR lawsuit in the State of Jefferson movement, and do you support the movement to form a new state?
Two things. I'm not familiar with the lawsuit, but I have family members and lots of friends that are involved in it. Capital Resource Institute is a nonprofit public policy organization. We're nonpartisan and don't take positions on those issues. But I know Ginny Rapini from the time she was with Tea Party early on, and Marie Roberson, and I and our organization, we support conservative Christian values first. That's where our loyalty and the things we fight for.
Well, one of those two people you just mentioned says hi. That would be Marie. She's once wanted me to say say hello to you. So,
well, hello, Marie. And is she a powerhouse? She's the Energizer Bunny that just doesn't stop. So, hello, Marie.
You're right about that. Well, Karen, I think we're probably gonna wrap this up for this evening. We sure do appreciate you being here. I mean, I have many, many more questions, but I think we have enough for people to get some information on what you do and how very important what you do is. It definitely go to that website. Do you want to please say your website one more time, Karen?
Yes, it's capital with an O, CAPITOL, resource.org. We're a resource for things going on at the Capitol.
Very good. Very good. Anything else, John?
No, I think we've covered a lot of things tonight. We could possibly have you back in the future to discuss some more, but I think we give people an avenue to start engaging in Capital Resources offerings, and
yes.
We really appreciate what you do.
Yes,
absolutely. Thank you guys for having me, and hopefully we'll see you and your listeners at Lobby Day.
Oh yes. I'm looking into it. Thank you very much, Karen.
Okay, thank you guys.
Well, we want to thank Karen for coming on and taking time to speak with us. We really appreciate the time that she could take to come chat with us. Pat, you want to talk to us about our upcoming events?
Yes, thank you, Matthew. On February 16th and 17th, State of Jefferson, concerned citizens for the State of Jefferson will be at the Code of the West Gun Show. That's at the Stanislaus County Fairgrounds, and that'll be Saturday and Sunday. Saturday 9 to 5 and Sunday 9 to 4. I guess you're supposed to bring your Valentine. On February 20th, we're having a special guest. Kevin McGarry will be with us at 6:30 at Grizzly Rock. Kevin is the president of the Frederick Douglass Foundation, and he will be here to speak with us on the California politics and how to get Christians start them running for office. On March 6th is Jefferson Night, all you need to know about Jefferson and more. And by then we should have updates on Mark and Cindy's Second Amendment lawsuit and the CFR appeals. So come on out and see us, and look forward to seeing you. And that's it. That's it, Matthew.
Awesome. Well, if you or anybody you know is interested in sponsoring our show, we are actively looking for sponsors. Please head over to jeffersonlibertyradio.com, or you can email us at sponsors@jeffersonlibertyradio.com. We'd love to hear from you as well. If you want to, you can email us feedback@jeffersonlibertyradio.com or via our website, again, jeffersonlibertyradio.com. We'd love to hear your questions and comments. Don't forget to subscribe to us in iTunes or your podcast player of choice, especially if you're listening to this on our website. Please subscribe. It helps us a lot, and you get the episodes downloaded directly onto your phone. Leave us a 5-star rating in those places, your iTunes or your podcast player. We'd really appreciate that. That also helps us. It helps our ratings. You can find us on typical social media, Facebook, Twitter. You can also find our episodes on Spotify, YouTube, Google Play, and even some alternative media such as BitChute or Gab. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Jefferson Liberty Radio, and we'll catch you next time.